For years, we've all been sold the same story about getting strong. It's a story that always happens in a gym, right? It's loud, it's full of clanging iron, and the only path to strength is to just lift heavier, push harder, and grind through endless reps. But what if that's not the whole story? And what if the very thing you think is making you stronger is actually just breaking you down, one achy joint at a time? That was the reality for David, a guy in his 50s who, after decades of hitting the gym, was left with more pain than power. He did everything right, he put in the reps, but his body was screaming at him. The strength he used to have was replaced by a nagging collection of aches in his knees, shoulders, and lower back. He was starting to think his days of feeling powerful were just over. But then, he stumbled onto a secret. He was inspired by the ancient holds used by Shaolin monks to build superhuman strength without ever lifting a single weight. And what he found not only started to heal his body, but tapped into a kind of strength he didn't know he had. Power that came not from moving weight, but from absolute stillness. David's journey started with pure frustration. He was tired of the trade-off, tired of feeling like every step towards strength was also a step toward another injury. So he started digging. He looked past the latest fitness fads and went way back, looking at how ancient warriors and monks trained for a different kind of strength. Not show muscles for the mirror, but real functional strength that was resilient and lasted a lifetime. He found his answer in the philosophy of the Shaolin temples. Here, strength wasn't measured by the weight on the bar, but how well you could control your own body. It was about tendon strength, mental focus, and generating massive force from a place of calm. He learned that the monk's legendary power was built on a foundation of static holds, exercises where you don't move at all. This felt totally backwards. How could you get stronger by holding still? But the more he looked, the more he found modern science backing up this ancient idea. This wasn't hocus pocus, it was pure physiology. So, what's the secret sauce here? It's a cool science thing called an isometric contraction. When you do a normal lift, your muscles shorten and lengthen. But in an isometric hold, your muscle creates tension without changing length at all. Imagine pushing against a wall with all your might. You're generating a ton of force, but nothing is moving. Modern science is finally catching up to what these monks knew ages ago. Some studies show that isometrics can force your nervous system to fire up nearly all of your available muscle fibers. Why? Because you can't cheat with momentum. It's just pure, focused muscle power. In fact, some research suggests that holding these positions at a stretched angle can build muscle just as effectively, or maybe even more so, than doing endless reps. For a guy like David with his achy joints, this was a total game changer. Isometrics build incredible strength and reinforce your tendons and ligaments with almost zero impact on the joints. They build that internal strength the monks talked about, improving the mind-body connection and creating a rock-solid foundation that makes every other movement stronger. He was ready to rebuild his body from the ground up. The 5 holds. The solution. Hold 1, the horse stance, the foundation of power. First up, the OG of all Shaolin training and the cornerstone of their power, the horse stance. This isn't just a squat, it's a masterclass in discipline, endurance, and raw leg power. The goal is to sink into a super wide stance and just hold, teaching your body to root itself to the ground. To do it, stand with your feet way wider than your shoulders, toes pointing forward. Now sink your hips down like you're sitting on an invisible stool, trying to get your thighs parallel to the ground. Keep your back straight, chest up, and pull your fists to your sides to engage your upper back. You'll immediately feel your quads, glutes, and inner thighs light up. For David, this was humbling. He could barely hold it for 20 seconds at first. He started with a shallower stance, using a chair for support, holding for 20 seconds. After a week, he could hold it without support for 30 to 45 seconds. Within a month, he was holding a deep stance for over a minute, just like the monks. This single hold started to rebuild his entire foundation, opening up his hips and forging an unbreakable connection to the ground. Hold 2, the hollow body hold, forging an iron core. Next, David went after the source of his nagging back pain, a weak core. He forgot all about crunches and sit-ups. He discovered the hollow body hold, a staple in gymnastics that teaches your spine what it feels like to be perfectly supported. Here's how you do it. Lie on your back and press your lower back firmly into the floor. No space allowed. Now lift your head, shoulders, and legs off the ground, creating a shallow banana shape with your body. For a bigger challenge, extend your arms overhead. To make it easier, keep them by your sides. The non-negotiable rule is to keep that lower back glued to the floor. This hold trains the deep core muscles that act like a natural weight belt for your spine. It's all about creating total stability. Start with your knees bent and arms at your sides, holding for 15 to 20 seconds. Move to straight legs with your arms reaching forward, holding for 30 seconds. The full expression is arms overhead, legs straight and hovering just above the ground, holding for 45 to 60 seconds. As David practiced this, his core switched on in a way it never had before. That chronic ache in his lower back started to fade, replaced by a feeling of solid, centered strength. Hold 3, the wall sit, bulletproofing the knees. Years of heavy squats had left David's knees feeling junky. The wall sit became a secret weapon to fix them. This exercise lets you load your quads and glutes in a deep, stretched position, the very stimulus shown to be amazing for muscle growth, without any of the painful forces that irritate the knee joint. Find a flat wall, lean your back against it, and slide down until your thighs are parallel to the floor, like you're in an invisible chair. Make sure your knees are at a 90-degree angle and stacked right over your ankles. Keep your back flat against the wall and just hold. Your quads will be on fire. This hold doesn't just build muscle, it strengthens all the little stabilizing structures around the knee joint, creating that bulletproof feeling we're all after. Beginner, start at a higher angle, not quite parallel, and hold for 30 seconds. Intermediate, work your way down to a full 90-degree angle and hold for 45 to 60 seconds. Advanced, to really test yourself, try the single leg version, holding for 30 seconds on each side. For David, this was revolutionary. He could finally build powerful legs without waking up to knee pain the next day. Hold 4, the bear crawl hold, total body armor. Strength isn't about isolated muscles, it's about how your body works as a team. While not a traditional Shaolin exercise, the bear crawl hold uses the same isometric principle to link your upper and lower body through a rock-solid core. Think of it as a plank on steroids. Get on all fours, hands under your shoulders and knees under your hips. Now press through your hands and toes to lift your knees just 1 or 2 inches off the ground. Your back should be flat enough to hold a dinner plate. That's it, just hold that position. It looks simple, but your entire body is buzzing with tension. Your shoulders, chest, and core are all fighting to keep you stable. This move builds the kind of real-world strength that protects you from injuries in daily life. Beginner, if the full hold is too much, just hold a plank on your knees, focusing on pushing the floor away. Intermediate, aim to hold the bear crawl position with perfect form for 30 to 40 seconds. Advanced, once you've mastered the hold, add slow and steady shoulder taps, fighting like crazy to keep your hips from twisting. This hold taught David what total body tension felt like. He felt more coordinated and athletic than he had in years. Hold 5, the wall push, unlocking shoulder strength. Years of overhead pressing had left David's tight and angry shoulders. The wall push offered a way to build shoulder strength isometrically, creating stability through a safe range of motion. Stand facing a wall, about an arm's length away. Place your hands on the wall at shoulder height, elbows straight but not locked. Now lean in a bit and start pushing into the wall like you're trying to knock it over. You're not just working your chest and shoulders, you're firing up all the tiny stabilizer muscles around the shoulder joint that traditional lifting often misses. This is how you build a strong, stable shoulder that's less likely to get injured. Beginner, start with a light push holding for 15 to 20 seconds. Intermediate, ramp it up to a near maximal contraction, holding that intense contraction for 30 seconds. Advanced, change the angle of your arms, pushing high overhead or down low to target different muscle fibers. David found this hold not only boosted his pressing strength, but also improved his posture and eased the chronic tension in his upper back. The transformation. Fast forward 6 months, David hadn't touched a heavy weight, yet he was stronger than he'd been in a decade. The chronic pain that lived in his joints was gone. He could spend hours gardening without his back giving out. He could lift heavy things with a confidence he thought he had lost for good. He just moved better. But the change wasn't just physical. The daily mental grind of holding these poses, of breathing through the burn, built a different kind of toughness. He learned that real strength wasn't about fighting a weight, but about mastering the force inside himself. He had stopped breaking his body down and had finally started building it up, from the inside out. The wisdom of the Shaolin monks isn't some dusty relic. It is a timeless, effective, and sustainable path to strength that is available to anyone at any age. No gym membership required. But don't just take my word for it. Feel it for yourself. Here's a little challenge. Don't try to tackle all 5 holds at once. Just pick one. Try the wall set. Sometime today, find a wall, slide your back down until your thighs are parallel to the ground, and just hold it for 30 seconds. Feel your quads light up. Feel the stability. Breathe. Then come back and leave a comment. Tell me what you felt. Because real strength isn't something you have to go looking for in a gym. It's already inside you, waiting. You just have to be willing to hold still long enough to find it.